you found something, you move forward. This data we are not yet tracking for, so if you're looking at information over time for someone who earned a bachelor's degree, if that person then earned a master's degree, we remove them because it's too hard with people changing degrees. But then we would put them, if we did a master's degree cohort starting at the point where they graduated with their master's, they would be tracked with that for what they're earning. So that's the other thing that's important for, I think, students and folks to understand that, you know, people do move into different fields. They get additional education. There's a lot of variability. You know, we're showing medians or averages. We show averages here. You know, there's a lot of variability there. But again, this is just a tool to try to help provide folks with some information about particular areas and what we're able to match to for wage data for those students at different institutions in different fields. Because we, not surprisingly, you do see some real variation across fields. With the certificates, some of it's striking. And the associate degrees, and you do see people earning more with certain associates than with bachelor's degrees, at least first year out. And seeing some of that data got us thinking, you know, started some conversations about, okay, it's also important to look over time. So we have this, and there's some things here that I'm not sure exactly what the methodology is, and it's included, you know, there are definitions included in this website. So I just wanted you to know it's here. I apologize, I can't give you, you know, great detail about it except to let you know it's here. We're excited that we were able to be part of this partnership with the Workforce Commission to produce this. And it's called, again, Texas Cruise, Consumer Resource for Education and Workforce Statistics.
But I think that graph, that 10-year graph, can be really powerful when someone's thinking about a major.
Yeah, and I think this is interesting that you're seeing for this field, for this particular occupation. Look at how they're coming together. But we see some things that you really see them split. You know, you really see some variability, and it's just kind of nice to have that information.
Well, when you think about computer engineering, the longer you stay in school, the less relevant the things that you learn are going to be when you get out. And that's one of the biggest problems. I worked in technology for 8 years, and we'd rather hire high school kids.
Well, the other thing to think about, you know, when parents and students are looking at these data, is the amount of loans that might increase with this higher level award. Is it really worth paying off when you converge at 10 years with the other awards?
Right.
So, I mean, it sparks a lot of really rich conversation about how do you decide what your education should be.
Right. And these may be college faculty, because you know, in computer science, generally, if you want to be college faculty, you need a doctorate. But if you don't, probably you may not go for the doctorate. So this might have more to do with where you're working than with wages overall, you know. So if you want to be college faculty, you know, it's again, you have to have that, and so I think it's a useful piece of information, and there's a lot of context that probably, hopefully, folks will be able to share with students if they're looking at it.
And the same caveat we made about, you know, we report higher ed data that's from Texas because we have Texas data. Texas Workforce Commission is the same way. They can't report data on someone who left the state. So these are people who were educated in Texas and who worked in Texas.
Yeah, and we know from places like UT Austin and A&M, they have higher percentages of students who leave the state for jobs, and they have a higher percentage of students who come in from out of state for enrollment. So again, it's descriptive data. It shows what we find, but it doesn't show the whole universe of data about wages. You know, if someone's self-employed, the data is not here unless you know, there's certain parameters in terms of when data is reported to Workforce Commission. So there's some things that aren't going to be here, but I think it's more than we've had in the past, and I think it provides useful information. You know, and there's an awful lot of anecdote out there. We've certainly heard a lot about with the oil and gas boom, and we've tracked some students from particular areas in high school to try to understand why the high school to college rates have slowed in some areas, to say, well, what do people seem to be making right out of high school? And you know, it actually seeing the data suddenly you've got information, and it's not just, well, you know, Bill's brother-in-law's kid is making $250,000, and that, you know, we all have, and you know, anecdote can be very useful too, but it's very helpful to actually be able to look and see, okay, what do we see for the population, you know, with the data that we have available? What are we seeing?